Ladies and, no, it's not on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to just start in a moment here. Just give us another minute. Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. Did we have a good lunch? Yes, yes. Of course you did. We are here together at the ResearchHERS event, so of course you had a great time. I am Wendy Wiesman. Welcome. I'm happy to be back for our second annual American Cancer Society ResearchHERS Luncheon. And a special welcome to those of you who are with us via live stream. We are happy to have you. This is going to be a thrilling experience, and I'm happy to share it with you so that whether you're here virtually or you're in person, we're all keeping safe. We're masked here in the room for the health and safety of all. Before we get started with our official program, I'd like to share a few reminders, especially for those of you joining virtually. Our silent auction is open. Have you guys all done the bidding already? I'm already in the bid. I've already been outbid. You should have received a text or an email with the link. Bid high, bid often. Our auction will go on until 5 p.m. today. And trust me, you'll get the reminders, it's helpful, and I hate to lose. To make a donation at any time during the program today, just click that donate button on the homepage and know, of course, that we appreciate your generosity. Following our program from 1:15 to 2, we're offering an exclusive Q&A with our ACS-funded researchers. Those here with us in person will return to the Sky-U-Ma room where lunch was served. And those of you planning to join us virtually will simply click the Zoom link in the chat, or it can be found on the ResearchHERS event website. So I'm excited to share with you today that Judy and Jeff Mader family and the Deborah and Alex Arbit family will be matching the first $7,500 donated today. Wow. Thank you for these generous gifts. Again, you can donate at any time, but why wait? Let's get started on that $7,500 match. As I said, again, my name is Wendy Wiesman. I'm excited to be here and be back to host with you today's event. I'm personally connected to cancer research because too many good friends of mine, of course, have breast cancer, and unfortunately, young in her life, my aunt survived ovarian cancer in the 70s. You can all be here because you too are connected in some way, one way or another, to furthering cancer research, supporting women, and putting forward that next best thing. ResearchHERS is an exciting initiative happening with groups across the country that will help American Cancer Society continue to fund women-led cancer research. I'm excited to be here and share the stage this afternoon with inspiring women across the stage. This event would not be possible without our ResearchHERS Board of Ambassadors. In fact, it is my honor to introduce to you two lovely ladies, Judy Mader and Kaylee Schwertfeger. They are the 2021 Fearless co-leaders of the ResearchHERS Board of Ambassadors. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, I'm Judy Mader, and I kind of screwed up because Amy made a script for me, but I made my own, so I'm going to go with my own. It'll be short, I promise. One thing Amy asked is, why was I interested in ResearchHERS? And I have two really big reasons. One of them is As Wendy said, so many people are impacted by cancer, and I'd like to say I skirted it, but I didn't. Today, my husband, who has stage 4 kidney cancer, is at the Mayo, for his 4-month checkup. It's going to be great. We know it. He's been doing wonderful. And one of the reasons he's doing wonderful is because he is on a drug called Cabometyx that some wonderful researcher out there did research on, and it has been just really knocking it out of the park. So we're very happy for that. The second reason why I'm interested in ResearchHERS is because when I worked, which was a few years ago, and I worked at Target in IT, I thought it was so stressful. How can you have a kid and work? And now I see these female women researchers who have kids, and I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do it all? I'm just so in awe of them. So for all you do, thank you. I appreciate it. It's wonderful. You're wonderful people. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. That was a great way to start. Hi, I'm Kaylee Schwartfeger. Judy and I are happy to welcome you here today for the celebration of women in science. I personally, as an ACS-funded female researcher, thank you. Your support allows us to keep hard at work, to continue to discover treatments, uncover factors that may cause cancer, and improve cancer patients' quality of life. Thank you so much for being here today. We, of course, cannot take all the credit for being here today. We'd like to thank the other women on the ResearchHERS Board of Ambassadors who have played a significant role in making today happen. Some are here with us in person, others are with us virtually, so hello to them. Please hold your applause until the end as we recognize them each individually. Sandra Japuntich, Danielle Huggins, Rachel Vogel, Sarah Peterson, Monica Nierengarten, Deborah Arbit, Cian Falconer, Gabriella Bajelis, Erin Hennihan, and Amy Countryman. Please join us in a round of applause for these ladies.
Thank you, ladies, for your time and for your dedication to making today possible, truly. All right, let's also thank our event sponsors. The Allina Aetnas of the world, Athena Strategy, Allina Health Aetna, I already said them. You can never say it too many times when they're sponsoring. Liberty Diversified International, and the Mater Family Charitable Fund. Next, I'd like to just share a quick video that explains why we're all here today and the importance of the work and the work that you're all doing to support ResearchHERS is doing too.
What does it take to outsmart cancer? Research.
It's been revolutionary to have women-led research teams.
I lead a team of 10 researchers. We identified a key gene that's mutated in blood cancers.
My mentor, Dr. Janet Rowley, proved the genetic basis of cancer. I built on her research and made new discoveries that led to new treatments that helped put patients into remission.
In the last 20 years, we have made significant progress. There are now 5 drugs that we can use to target breast cancer, and some of these drugs also are involved in ovarian and prostate cancer.
Diversity exists within cancer, and so why not have the same type of diversity and inclusion in scientists?
We're looking at the specific types of cancer that shows up in women of African descent.
I'm investigating why certain chemotherapies aren't working to treat triple-negative breast cancer.
This is a really exciting time to be involved in cancer research because there have been a lot of breakthroughs.
The pace of cancer discovery is more rapid than ever before, and it's an irony that at this time, there is limited government funding for cancer research.
A number of my peers have had to close their laboratories because they were unable to obtain NIH funding.
And young women researchers are at a disadvantage. Women are awarded smaller first-time NIH research grants than men, $41,000 less annually.
The American Cancer Society has created a new initiative to fund women-led research.
because we need to keep these young women investigators engaged and supported. At a critical time in my career, the American Cancer Society gave me funding.
They've funded me at 2 key points in my career. The first time was as a junior investigator, and the ACS enabled me to launch my laboratory.
The ResearchHERS initiative will allow us to fund the many women who have the kind of energy, excitement, and intellect to finding treatments and cures for cancer.
I'm hoping to find a cure for leukemia.
I'm hoping to use genetics to help patients live longer and better lives.
There's always a question to ask, and having a grant allows me to continue to ask those questions.
The American Cancer Society ResearchHERS initiative is a unique opportunity to invest in promising young women investigators.
Because that's the next generation that we're all here to support.
We've been given the gift of time, and so we want to ensure that we're investing not just our time, but our talent and, yes, our money in finding ways to find cures and hope.
Together, we'll find a cure.
We're really here today as men and women to support women in ensuring they can continue to make valuable contributions in this life-saving field, just like the video you just saw. You can be proud that when you invest in the American Cancer Society, your dollars will help to sustain the society as a main supporter of ensuring that the unique perspective and voice of women is accounted for in our world-renowned research program. You may already know that the American Cancer Society is the largest private funder of cancer research. But did you know that the Society's research program was started by a woman? You are following in the footsteps of female pioneers. In 1946, philanthropist Mary Lasker convened a group of colleagues, not so unlike those here today, and raised $1 million. That's a lot of money in 1946, ladies and gentlemen, to establish and fund the Society's groundbreaking research program. And since then, the Society has been a longtime supporter of women in cancer research and has been a part of nearly every major cancer research breakthrough. The Society funds all types of research to find more and better treatments, uncover facts that may cause cancer, and improve the cancer patient's quality of life. Now listen carefully. 49 ACS-funded researchers have gone on to win the Nobel Prize. 49. But guess what? Not one has been a woman, yet. It's dedication from people like you in this room that will help to change that. And maybe one of the next female researchers will be right here in Minnesota. Let's make that happen. Right now, the Society funds 16 Minnesota researchers. 8 of them are women, half. Right now, half. We are lucky enough to have some of them right here with us today in the room and watching virtually, too. And let's give them all a round of applause. When you give to the American Cancer Society through ResearchHERS, you help sustain women-led cancer research and also further the careers of female researchers. Speaking of which, and speaking of giving, is everyone keeping an eye on the silent auction? My phone just went off again. And I was just outbid, actually, during the video, and I already rebid. So next up to whoever is taking me on in that 6-course dinner for 4. If you don't already have the auction in front of you, a reminder that the link is out there for you in the chat, too. For those joining virtually or in person, you can just scan the QR code right in front of you. There are restaurant certificates, there are hats, there are tickets, there's art. I encourage you to check it out. Like I said, I've been outbid, I'm bidding again. There is a $250 jewelry gift card, a $500 home gift store card. There's, oh yeah, that private tasting. Please don't, well, I'll fight you for it. Remember, the holidays are just around the corner, and a special thank you to Sarah Pedersen, Erin Henahan, Sandra Japuntich, and Deb Krause for all of their work for the great auction today. The auction is going to be open until 5 p.m., so it gives you plenty of time to share with family and friends of course, unless you don't like a good competition. So keep competing and keep bidding, and totally your call. So let's get on with the rest of the program. Today, I have the privilege of helping to recognize 2 women in partnership with you who are leading the charge and fight to end cancer and setting an example for the future fight right here. Our award winners today were nominated by their peers and colleagues and selected by the ResearchHERS ambassadors for their amazing contributions in their fields. Presenting today's award on behalf of the American Cancer Society is the 2020 ResearchHERS Minnesota Award winner, Dr. Dorothy Hatsukami. The Rising Star Award recognizes an emerging female leader who shows great promise as a cancer researcher and has already demonstrated leadership by contributing beyond her scope of work to enhance the field of cancer research. This year's recipient of that award, the Rising Star Award, is Dana Carroll. Dana has committed her research career to diminishing health disparities in American Indian community with a focus on reducing negative health impacts related to the commercial use of tobacco, not traditional tobacco, which is commonly used among American Indian persons during ceremony and prayer. This career focus has led to the diligent build of relationships and trust in American Indian communities that is necessary to conduct research in this oft-exploited group. Dana's research with AI persons is rooted in community-based participatory research, and because of this approach, it best honors the cultural knowledge and expertise of the community and empowers the community to contribute directly to solving their own health problems. Her initial research interest with the AI community was sparked by her role as an epidemiologist at the Oklahoma Stevenson Cancer Center. In that role, Dana provided expertise on the progress of Oklahoma's tobacco control efforts through analysis of cancer registry and large surveys. This work led to multiple publications showing a stark adverse lung cancer disparity in AI persons, which then led to her interest in partnering with AI communities in data-driven efforts to redress this and related cancer disparities. Dana has received extensive funding from NIH to pursue studies related to smoking cessation in the AI population, which includes the development of testing of a culturally tailored smartphone app for quitting smoking for American Indian persons. Dana and her colleagues are also actively involved in funded studies focused on reducing the addictiveness and the toxicity of cigarettes. Douglas Lee and Dorothy Hatsukami with the Masonic Cancer Center co-nominated Dana for this honor. They shared these words. In her short tenure as a researcher, Dana Carroll is truly a rising star. She has accomplished much in developing relationships with the American Indian community, gaining their trust and establishing collaborations on research projects that address a topic that will reduce the cancer burden in this population. We look forward to her continued important contributions to the field, and no doubt she will be one of the leaders in cancer center prevention and health equity. Her contributions and effort in this area will be invaluable to the Masonic Cancer Center and our community. Dana has studied at Ohio State University, Kent State University, the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center. One of Dana's proudest accomplishments and collaborations is raising her 2 daughters with her husband and Army veteran Brad Carroll. Their girls are Faye, who is 2, and Ada, who is 4 months old. Please help me in congratulating our 2021 Rising Star Award recipient, Dana Carroll.
Wow, thank you so much for that introduction, and I'm just so honored and a bit nervous to be up here. So I know I only have about 1 minute, and I want to spend this time placing gratitude where it is owed by thanking a couple of my closest community collaborators who I've been honored to learn from and work with. So Carol Hernandez is an elder of a tribe I collaborate with and was a research coordinator on a recent study looking at genetic and social cultural factors that underline smoking and lung cancer. She is well trusted and respected by her community and instrumental in our success to recruit participants into the study. Her teachings have included teaching me how to sew and decorate moccasins, which if you know me well, that's no easy feat given my lack of artistic capabilities. Another person I want to thank is Dylan Jennings, who is a tribal councilman who invited me out to his tribe before the pandemic and provided a cultural immersion experience whereby I learned about the traditional use of tobacco in prayer and ceremony by participating in a hands-on workshop creating traditional tobacco mixtures. We're now using this cultural knowledge to develop a smoking cessation program for their clinic. So what I want to leave you with and what I've learned in my time as a researcher is relationships truly matter. And I want to leave you with a quote by Helen Keller that inspires some of my community-engaged research. Alone, we can do little, but together, we can do so much. So thank you.
Up next is our Legacy Award. This award recognizes a female leader who has led the advancement of cancer research throughout her career and has played a crucial role in supporting the cancer advancement of other women in the field of cancer research. This year's Legacy Award recipient is Dr. Susan Senser. Susan Senser is currently the Chief and VP for Specialty Pediatrics at Children's Minnesota. She is a pediatric oncologist with a career-long interest in supportive care for children undergoing cancer therapies. This led her to a fascinating journey into the realm of integrative oncology, previously called alternative and complementary medicine, and a desire to elevate the science of integrative oncology by conducting focused research in this area. Susan is a graduate of Grinnell College, where she majored in psychology. She then spent several years in medicine-adjacent jobs until she realized that truly the only thing she wanted to do was be a doctor, just like her mother had encouraged her to do from the onset. But as an undergraduate, she had taken on no pre-med courses, so she had to take those pesky little science and math classes that she'd been avoiding since 9th grade when she received a D in geometry. She then attended University of Minnesota School of Medicine and remained there for her pediatric residency and fellowship in pediatric hematology oncology. Susan joined the hematology oncology staff at Children's Minnesota in 1991, and she subsequently had a wonderful career, first as a generalist and then a leukemia specialist. She was medical director for the Cancer and Blood Disorders Division from 2003 to 2016, and turned to the dark side of administration when she became chief in 2018. She was a founding mother of the Integrative Medicine Program at Children's and was instrumental in starting the Pain Palliative Care and Integrative Medicine Program as well. It is now the foremost pediatric pain program in the country. Susan believes and finds herself unbelievably fortunate to have been able to take both a career and a robust and still growing family while working in this way. She has been married forever to David Mira, the author, educator, and activist. She is also mother to Samantha, Nico, and Tomo, all who live in Minneapolis, and also who recently earned the title of Grandma to Tadashi, who brings them all endless joy. Susan was nominated by Sarah Pedersen with Allina Health. When asked what makes Dr. Senser stand out, Sarah responded, Dr. Sensor's best qualities and characteristics include approachability, warmth, humility, articulate communication, and a sense of humor. Importantly, she is able to deal with difficult conversations in a warm and loving way. Dr. Sensor has also a way of making each individual feel that she or he is an important person in her life. She is able to see the gifts and talents in others and accepts the shortcomings. She says yes to many requests and is generous with her time and talent, both personally and professionally. Please help me in recognizing our 2021 Legacy Award recipient, Dr. Susan Sensor.
Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it, and it's so touching and important to me that Sarah Pedersen nominated me for this, because it's so cool. And it's just so cool that she herself has gone on to have a life in research. So this is what you want for your children, to have them do important work, and also, if you're a pediatrician and a pediatric oncologist, your patients. But it's also a very meaningful award for me as well, because a couple of reasons is that pediatric cancer research takes a much smaller piece of the pie than does adult, which makes sense, right? There are thankfully so fewer children a year that get cancer as opposed to adults, that so much of the attention goes to them. And secondly, I do clinical research, right? I do clinical trial research. That's what a pediatric oncologist does. And that's not maybe as sexy or as researchy as wearing a white coat and being in a lab. But it has been an incredibly wonderful career, because I have been able to watch the important work that gets done. As pediatricians, we realized we were never going to have a large enough N, right? We weren't going to have enough subject matters to be able to do huge randomized controlled trials in our own backyard. So we had to bond together. We had to create international and national consortiums to be able to ask those hard questions over and over again, and then immediately, continuously keep asking the next one. But so when Sarah, 27 years ago, I had a conversation with Sarah's parents, and I know I said at the time that that in 1964, when I was a child, there was essentially a 0% chance of surviving acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And if you were a survivor, that meant that you actually had a bad case of mono and were misdiagnosed. But now, because of this continuous, relentless search for new answers, there is a greater than 95% cure rate in some forms of children's leukemia. But when Amy asked me to talk, she was like, give advice, give advice now that when you get a legacy award, you realize you're old. But that, what advice can you give to the next generation, to the people? And first, I just have to say, marry well, right? It's like, I have been so fortunate to have a husband that really supported me. So whether you're married, or find life partners, find friends that will support you because I would have quit. I would have quit many a time, to support somebody at their most exhausted and grimiest and still keep going. But for my children who are watching, I didn't forget to thank him. That's a family joke. And really the other advice is to have fun in your daily life. Find friends that are gonna make you laugh, deep belly laughs, right? If you look at my pictures, they're the things and the people that make me happy. I didn't wear a white coat. That was a joke. I never wore a white coat. It was all about taking care of kids with cancer is hard. All of us are very quirky people. But you find the people that make you laugh, that make you able to get through those days and just keep going. And the other advice I would give to young women is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not doing more, right? There's so much to do. There's so much more that we always can be doing. And as at work, there's always another question. And at home, there's always another load of laundry or another baseball game to go to, whatever. And it is really easy to think that you're screwing it up and you're not doing well. So My children have given me way more than I could ever give them, but I always think I didn't give enough. And I did become a better physician and a better researcher the day I became a mother. The three of them and now Dash are my greatest achievements. Most importantly, just don't take yourself so seriously. Enjoy your life, enjoy your loved ones, do good work. Thanks.
Thank you. One last time, help me again honor those 2021 award winners, Dr. Susan Sensor and Dana Carroll. Today we celebrate the women who are currently working in the field of science. But this movement also provides opportunity to encourage our next generation of girls in science. Hence the creation of our Junior Ambassadors Program. The Junior Ambassadors Program was created by the American Cancer Society by Abby Schnorr, and these two lovely ladies who are joining me right now, I'd like to introduce you to Erin and Gabriella.
Hi, my name is Erin Henahan. I am a senior at St. Catherine's University, majoring in biology, and I have a focus in genetic counseling, and I am a co-lead of the ResearchHERS Junior Ambassador program.
And I'm Gabriella Bajelis. I just graduated from the University of Minnesota with a degree in human physiology and chemistry, and I plan on pursuing a career in medicine. The goal of the Junior Ambassadors Program is to encourage and inspire young girls interested in the fields of STEM to join the ResearchHERS movement that directly impacts our future as women in science. Ambassadors were asked to fundraise and raise awareness among their peers. Throughout the campaign, we provided encouragement and resources to help them succeed with this. Raising more than $2,000+ we are thrilled to recognize Maitri from Wayzata High School as the 2021 Junior Ambassador of the Year. Maitri is actually at school today, working hard at her senior year. This certainly sheds light on the character of this impressive young lady.
Although Maitri couldn't be here today, she did leave a note that she wished for us to read. I joined ResearchHERS because I understand the toll cancer has on a person and their loved ones. My aunt passed away from cancer, and it was a really big obstacle for my family and I to overcome. I strongly believe that with this campaign and the research our female scientists are doing, we will be able to prevent these hardships from affecting many people. I'm also a strong believer in science and the power of research, so anything that I can do to help advance finding cancer cures, I will do so. In the future, my goal is to be an architect, which will involve me being in STEM, so participating in this campaign was important for me as we are empowering women in this field. Congratulations again to our Junior Ambassador of the Year, Maitri.
Thank you both, Erin and Gabriella. Can we agree that the future looks quite bright with these young ladies, and all the best to you both. So if you have a young lady in your life with a zest for science, make sure she knows about Junior Ambassadors. Okay, quick reminder. Let's check in on the silent auction because my phone did go off again. Anyone else? All right. All donations today raised through the auction and general gifts are restricted for our ACS-funded female researcher programs. Our auction will continue again until 5 p.m., so you'll still get those text reminders even after you leave these doors. A bit often, like maybe right now. All right. Our My Story is Why speaker today is Allison Steinke. Allison is a PhD candidate and doctoral dissertation fellow enrolled at the Hubbard School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Her dissertation project on the topic of solutions journalism, which won top dissertation awards both at the UMN Graduate School and Hubbard School in 2021. Allison regularly completes projects, and conducts research on topics including journalism, digital and social media, and social justice with academic and industry partners, including the Star Tribune and the Twin Cities Public Television, TPT. She teaches courses right here at the University of Minnesota and is also an adjunct faculty member in the MBA program at Bethel University, my alma mater. Allison is an active member of several international research organizations and has presented her work across the globe at conferences in cities including Cardiff, Wales, Toronto, Canada, and Washington, D.C. She is also a professional freelance journalist and editor, formerly employed by Wheaton College as the editor of an award-winning Wheaton magazine and as online editor at Christianity Today. She has reported on a drug and sex trafficking in Honduras, and she writes blogs for Chicago Now on a site called A Daily Miracle. As a 32-year-old breast cancer survivor, Allison is thankful to follow in the footsteps of her mother and 20-plus-year breast cancer survivor Jane to celebrate the healing of her sister and fellow breast cancer survivor, Stephanie, and to encourage her 27-year-old sister Jennifer as she navigates breast cancer survivorship. Allison has documented her family's journey through breast cancer on A Daily Miracle, Chicago Now, the blog I mentioned earlier. Please join me in welcoming Allison, who is joined by her twin sister, Stephanie.
Thank you very much. It is an honor and privilege to be here with all of you today. I am Allison Steinke, and I'm here to share a little bit about my journey through breast cancer diagnosis, treatment, and survivorship. This is my twin sister, Stephanie Lamphere. My story wouldn't be complete without hers, because we were both diagnosed with breast cancer within 3 weeks of each other 2 years ago in fall of 2019. Our father, John Altoff, is here with us today, too, as the co-chair of the Minnesota Real Men Wear Pink campaign. Hi, Dad. And our mom, Jane, as previously mentioned, a 23-year breast cancer survivor, is online. Hi, Mom. Along with our baby sister, Jen, who is a 27-year-old breast cancer previvor. Our husbands couldn't make it to the event with us today, but they've been with us every step of the way, and you might be able to see them on some slideshow photos pulled from my blog up here on the screens for your enjoyment. I'm also carrying a little life today. Baby Steinke is on the way here into the world next month, and I'm grateful for his forthcoming arrival and for the great research that's been done to keep me alive and able to be a mom here today. And so, first of all, thank you to all the researchers who have dedicated your lives and careers to saving the lives of those impacted by cancers of various kinds, not least of which my sister and I are here to thank you for. And second, we wanted to share a few things that have impacted us directly with regard to research. First, the importance of early detection. So, as mentioned, our mom, Jane, was diagnosed with stage 0 DCIS at age 41. Our maternal grandmother passed of ovarian cancer at age 50. Our great-grandmother passed from breast cancer in her 60s. And even with all of this family history, both of us are BRCA negative, but we know there must be something genetic going on, so we're encouraged to hear that research on genetic factors continues. Given our strong family history, our gynecologist recommended that we sisters undergo breast cancer screening 10 years before my mom's first diagnosis at age 41. So at age 30, I signed up for my first mammogram. 2 days later, I was called back to the breast clinic due to some suspicious findings in the form of microcalcifications. After undergoing a stereotactic core biopsy, my diagnosis was confirmed as stage 0 DCIS, just like my mom. Per the recommendation of my doctors, given my strong family history, I decided to undergo a double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction. My successful surgery was on December 3rd, 2019, and I woke up cancer-free on my 31st birthday, December 4th, 2019. Meanwhile, I, Stephanie, also went in for my first baseline mammogram at the age of 30 in August of 2019. It was at the urging of my twin, Allison, who is the older twin, so I always follow her lead, that I did go ahead and finally make that appointment after dragging my feet for some time. I was also called back for suspicious findings. However, I was then sent home because there were no areas of concern. I was told to come back in 1 year. 2 days later, I went to visit my gynecologist for a routine checkup. During the physical exam, she found a lump in my left breast. She also sent me home and told me to keep an eye on it and if anything changed, we would do additional imaging at a future date. 1 month passed. I didn't notice any changes, and I certainly didn't mention anything to anyone else as Allison was going through her diagnosis journey. But then I went with Allison to her first intake and diagnosis appointment at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. As her doctor explained the various stages of breast cancer and all the reasons why it was wonderful that Allison did not have a lump, I became nervous. When I got home from Mayo, my husband urged me to call my local breast clinic and demand that they get me back in for additional imaging just to ensure that there was nothing concerning going on. Thankfully, after explaining that my twin had just been diagnosed, they agreed to see me again for additional ultrasound imaging. The next day, I found myself in an ultrasound room with the same radiologist who had performed my initial ultrasound 1 month prior. This time, the radiologist found not only 1 lump in my left breast, but 2. I was also told that I would need an immediate ultrasound-guided biopsy to investigate these lumps. Those biopsies confirmed my diagnosis: triple positive, stage 2A, invasive ductal carcinoma. So both of us as 30-year-old twins had now found ourselves diagnosed with breast cancer within 3 weeks of each other, having to figure out what this all meant for us as wives, as daughters, as sisters, and as employees. Me as a PhD candidate and adjunct instructor, and Steph as a lawyer would never be the same. We are so grateful for the technology that made it possible for our cancer to be detected at an early stage, and we're really excited that early detection through research continues to be a priority for high-risk women everywhere. This year alone, we've met at least 3 women in their 20s and 30s who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and while early detection is definitely a blessing, there must be something genetic or environmental going on, and we challenge you researchers and generous donors to figure that out, partly on behalf of our younger sister, who at 26 years old had to begin navigating early preventative screenings, which between MRIs, ultrasounds, biopsies, and physical clinical exams can be very stressful and very expensive. The second point of our story today is chemotherapy. Watching Steph here go through chemotherapy to battle her stage 2A cancer was one of the most stressful experiences of our entire family's lives. We do look for the blessings in everything, though, and are so grateful that the chemotherapy more or less eradicated her cancer completely. She's now in her 4th month of remission from her stage 2A breast cancer. One aspect of my treatment that I was very thankful to be able to take part in was the Paxman scalp cooling technology, which allowed me to preserve my hair follicles so that my hair could grow back in. I did lose most of my hair during treatment, but it did come back in, so that was a huge blessing to be able to use that technology during my neoadjuvant treatment. The specific regimen I went through was 6 rounds of TCHP, Taxotere, carboplatin, Herceptin, and Perjeta. A few weeks prior to starting chemotherapy, I also went through the egg retrieval process at a local fertility clinic to preserve my fertility so that my husband and I could have children via IVF once chemotherapy was completed. It remains an open question the impact that chemotherapy has on young women such as myself and their future fertility, so I was fortunate to be able to go through a successful egg retrieval. My husband and I have now been cleared to start IVF in the spring. Yay. When I had completed all 6 rounds of TCHP, it was time for my double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction, which Allison had made look very easy. So it was a successful surgery. It did reveal that the chemotherapy was extremely effective in obliterating nearly all of my stage 2 cancer. The tumor bed had also shrunk down significantly with only trace amounts of cancer remaining at the time of surgery. Because there was a bit of cancer remaining, I qualified for an adjuvant chemotherapy regimen called Kadcyla, or TDM1. And this is a treatment that has recently been approved for women such as myself who completed a taxane-based neoadjuvant chemotherapy regimen and had some amount of cancer remaining. Mostly, my oncologist called it chemo light. It wouldn't cause my hair to fall out. It would also help me to prevent a recurrence in the future. So I went through 14 rounds of Kadcyla, and as Allison stated, I am now in remission. I am going on 6 months of remission. And we are very fortunate, and I feel blessed to have been able to have access to the treatments that I was treated with to cure my cancer. In closing, we want to again thank you all for your research as we move forward into our lives as breast cancer survivors. We were healthy before our diagnoses, but now we put our physical and emotional health first as a matter of survival. So we're so encouraged by the researchers here, especially interested in integrative medicine and helping figure out how can factors like nutrition, diet, exercise, mental health, and supplements play a role in optimizing health in the battle against and prevention of cancer, especially for young women at high risk who come after us. So we want to just thank you again for taking the time from us today and for all of your amazing work and research in this field. So thank you.
Thank you both, Allison and Stephanie. We appreciate you sharing that incredible story of that with your family today and reminding us of the true importance of the funds being raised here today. Our Research is Why speaker today is Danielle Huggins. Danielle received her bachelor's degree in biochemistry from Creighton University. She then completed her graduate training in molecular neuroscience at biochemistry from Creighton University. Oh, my apologies. She then completed her graduate training in molecular science at the Mayo Clinic Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Her thesis work focused on novel mechanisms for generating immune responses against tumors of the central nervous system. She is currently a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Minnesota, working in the lab of Dr. Kaylee Schwertfeger. Her postdoctoral research focuses on determining how macrophage diversity contributes to the metastatic progression of breast cancer. She has been the recipient of the F31 predoctoral fellowship from the National Cancer Institute and is currently funded by a postdoctoral fellowship from the American Cancer Society. Welcome, Danielle Huggins.
Thank you, Wendy. I'd like to start today by thanking Allison and Stephanie and their entire family for sharing your survival journey with us. It is truly humbling to hear your stories of resilience and strength. As basic scientists, we don't always have the opportunity to see the faces of those who are impacted by cancer therapies, but being here with you guys today is the ultimate reminder of why we're doing what we do. I would also like to thank each and every one of you in attendance today, whether you're here in person with us or virtually. By showing up and by logging in, you have already demonstrated your commitments to science and to medicine and your understanding of the need to promote equality and inclusion for female researchers. To share just a little bit of myself, I've been interested in science from a very young age. When I was 12, I told my parents that I was going to become a brain surgeon, and I went to college with that goal in mind. But there I had my first experience with research. I learned how to design experiments, how to analyze data, and how to persevere when things inevitably did not go right the first time. And I absolutely loved it. I then applied to graduate school, and I ultimately decided to attend the Mayo Clinic Graduate School in Rochester, Minnesota. Here, I began my career as a cancer biologist, trying to find ways to use the immune system to fight brain tumors. I became enthralled with learning how tumors work, how they interact with the cells of our body, and ultimately how we could use our own body's defense system against them. That interest has driven my work to this day, where I am now a postdoctoral fellow here at the University of Minnesota, researching how these immune cells, called macrophages, interact with tumor cells to promote growth and metastasis. Throughout my training, I have had the privilege of working with and being mentored by extraordinary women. My undergraduate research mentor, Dr. Julie Sokup, helped me to find my passion and encouraged me to pursue my graduate education. I would not be here standing in front of you today had it not been for her. And now I have the ultimate honor of working for Dr. Kaylee Schwertfeger, who has not only served as an enduring example of what it means to be a successful woman in science, but has supported every aspect of my career as I have endeavored to follow in her footsteps. She has also developed a team of incredible female scientists who I have the joy of working with every day as we strive to increase our understanding of breast cancer. I think some of them are logging in today, so hi, Shorty Lab. One of the most heartwarming aspects of the ResearchHERS initiative has been the amazing show of women supporting women. In such a competitive field, we're often forced into thinking of success as a zero-sum game, fearing that the accomplishments of others might diminish our own opportunities for ourselves. This initiative has been a really refreshing reminder that, in fact, to borrow a phrase from the Broadway sensation Hamilton, the world is wide enough. It's wide enough for us all to revel in the successes of one another while still making our mark in our chosen field. The team of women who have made this event possible represent leaders in such diverse fields, and yet they have brought their talents and their expertise together for this cause, to support women in research. I'll also take a moment to thank all of the men who have supported the ResearchHERS initiative. Please continue to use your voices to speak out for greater representation and support for women in all areas of your lives. Being a woman in science can be hard. Describing her experience as a female scientist in the late 1930s, Nobel Prize winner Gertrude Elion said, "I hadn't been aware that there were doors closed to me until I started knocking on them. I heard, 'You're qualified, but we've never had a woman in the lab before, and we think you'd be a distracting influence.' But I've learned over the years that when you put white lab coats on chemists, they all look alike." And yet today, more than 80 years later, women still make up only about 1/3 of the STEM workforce. While about half of all biology doctorates are awarded to women, only about 1/5 of fully tenured professors are female. I have personally been told that you're too pretty to be smart, or that your accomplishments are good for a girl. In addition to biases, hiring and promotion processes often don't consider the additional burdens that many women take on, particularly within their families. Women receive fewer grants than men, and often for significantly lower amounts than our male counterparts. As such, a critical aspect of my success as a young researcher has been the funding that I've received from the American Cancer Society. ACS has a strong commitment to promoting female scientists, with approximately half of their awards going to women, a rate that exceeds the national funding average. Furthermore, ACS is unique in its support for families, offering a generous family leave policy for fellows that allows both new mothers and fathers to take time off to celebrate new additions to their family while retaining their full fellowship term. I was personally fortunate enough to take advantage of this program when my son Calvin was born last December. Through programs like ResearchHERS, ACS has demonstrated its strong commitment to creating more equitable opportunities for female researchers at all levels. So I'd just like to end today by thanking all of you for showing up, for speaking out, and for continuing to support the American Cancer Society and its efforts to support women in science. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. And thank you for sharing your journey as a female researcher and for reminding us all of why we're here today. It is critical that we continue to fund all the Danielles of the world, the Susans, the Danas, the Rachels, the Sandras, all for the future generation of young women striving to be female cancer researchers. And now is exactly the time to make that happen. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Allison, Dana, and Susan back to the stage for this important part of our program. So, if you're ready, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to talk about who is inspired by these amazing women today. And let's show them their support through our fundraising. Let's show them our support by opening our hearts and our wallets. It is time to do 3 things: to encourage her, to support her, and to fund her. The funds we raise today will help the society sustain women as leading contributors to cancer research. Now remember, the Society's research program was started because of one woman who brought together a small group of others who were committed to the cause. So, to give today, remember all of these amazing women, but also raise your paddle, and you received it when you checked in, if you can see it. And if you're turning in virtually, you've already made a donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will begin to recognize you too as your name scrolls up on the screen and your paddles are at your table and you're ready to raise them. Right before we do that, I have some exciting news for you. A $7,500 donation has already been received from the Mater and Arbit families. Thank you so much. And all of the donations up to $7,500 today will be matched. We also have many other individuals who have already made generous donations prior to the event today, and I want to share those names with you now. Deb Krause, Mary Henahan, Rachel Vogel, Malin Robel, Kelly Thompson. We also need to recognize Sandra Japuncic and Malin Robel, who did an amazing job fundraising for ResearchHERS as ResearchHERS ambassadors. They both reached out to family, friends, colleagues, and asked for their support for the initiative too. And together they raised $4,600. So who's with us? Because it is when a group like this raises their paddles to raise funds here together and join together with other supporters across the country and online, our impact truly multiplies. So today we're going to start the fundraising at $2,500. Who wants to start us? $2,500. Paddle raisers? Anyone? Woo! Yes, thank you, $2,500. Thank you. I think we need another round of applause. How about $1,000? Virtually, you have the chance. $500. 1, 500, 2, in the back, 3, online, 4. Thank you. How about $250? 190, 173. Anyone else at that $250 mark? $100. $131, 139, 103. Sometimes those glasses, they just don't work. Ooh, who else did we miss? Thank you. How about $50 in the room? Right in the back. Online, who else? $50. All right. Thank you. Thank you all in this room this afternoon. Your contributions undoubtedly will make an impact on the lives of so many, as you've heard about the lives of the researchers and the lives of the cancer patients here with us today. The American Cancer Society is on a mission to save lives, celebrate lives, and lead the world in the fight against cancer. Today, we all help to ensure that mission in this room was accomplished. So let's hear it a last time for our ResearchHERS ambassadors, Athena Strategy, Allina Health Aetna, Liberty Diversified International, and the Mater Family Charitable Fund. Our award recipients, Dana Carroll, Dr. Susan Sensor, and our guest speakers, Allison Steinke and Dr. Danielle Huggins. Ladies, thank you so much. A friendly reminder that immediately following the program again today will be from 1:15 to 2 o'clock in an exclusive Q&A with the ACS Research Fund individuals. Those here with us in the room can return to the Scotty Mom Room where lunch was served, and those joining virtually can simply click on the Zoom link in the chat, or it can be found on the ResearchHERS website. Now, if you've been inspired by the events here today, and honestly, who hasn't? I always want to quit my day job and then go do something more amazing like all of you. We encourage you to share this funding opportunity and the idea of the Junior Ambassadors Program too with those you know. So pass along that donation link that you used, and a reminder that the auction is open till 5. I know that I am currently outbid. If you would like to volunteer or join the ResearchHERS Ambassadors for 2022, we'd love to have you. So please reach out to any Board of Ambassadors members today. Speaking of which, about the future, mark your calendars for May of 2022 to join us for the 3rd annual ResearchHERS Luncheon. We hope that you can make it back next year in person, come offline, join us in person, although I believe our virtual audience was just as inspired. Thank you again all so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. What a great program. Thank you. Thank you for all of you who raised your hand for the paddle race. Please come back to the table. We want to make sure that we captured all of your generous donations. Thank you.
Yeah, right? Wait, don't you need my vaccination card? I have that too.